Hello, everyone. We're back. We're going to do a nice recap of episode 4.
The Amazing Race, season 37.
Season 34. We're so excited.
34?
30. Why did I say 34?
I don't know.
Oh, episode 4. That's why I said it. Your mind plays tricks on you. But we are going to have some very special guests with us. We have the very special Carrigain and Bernie here with us.
Woo!
Hey, hello.
We're
everybody.
so happy to have you. I think we need to get to know you more. It's like we miss so much.
The season moves quickly in general, and then when we get a great team like the two of you, and there's so many things going on, we don't get to know you. So we're happy to have you.
Also,
and
14 teams. That was a lot.
You are our very first guest we've ever had.
Yeah, that's true. So we're figuring out a lot of things.
Wow, I feel so special.
Welcome. We're very happy to have you.
Well, we're happy to be here.
We're so happy to be here. And I feel like you said, there was 14 teams, and I feel like there was so much good content with all 14 teams. Like, we rarely saw interviews. Even when we did dive into people's stories, backgrounds, it was very small. So I'm happy and sad. I think it's great that we're giving viewers so much to watch, but also I'm I want to know more about everybody also.
Yeah.
Is that also, I'm noticing a lot of super fans on this season. So it's really competitive, and it's everyone is going.
Yeah, everybody's done their homework. Bernie, you said you were the fan of the show, right?
I wouldn't say I was a fan of the show. I just a fan of competing. And I like to find any outlet to compete. And when I saw The Amazing Race, I'm oh, this is totally up my alley. I love to travel. I love to do all sorts of things. I've expressed it that I think I'm better than everyone on anything that I do. So why not just, do The Amazing Race?
Exactly.
But I didn't do as much homework as everyone else did. There were some super fans in this season and competitors. So that was a challenge. We were watching Amazing Race, but I was telling Carrigain, before I play football right now. Before I played football, I would watch a football game to just watch football. But now that I play football and I watch a football game, it's completely different. So I feel that's the same thing with The Amazing Race. Now that I actually played the game, now I'm when I watch it, I'm oh, those are the things that I need to be paying attention. But you don't pay attention to those things when you're watching it without having the experience. So it's completely different when you're actually in there.
When you're in the moment and in it, you oh wow, it looks so different on TV, or I would never have expected that, because there's so many things that happen behind the camera or that they don't show, right?
I mean, simple things like the flights, you don't expect that you're gonna arrive on a long flight and then you just have to sprint, and
it's that movie magic, right? It's poof.
Exactly. And I had seen the show prior to Bernie asking me, probably in the very early season, so I was familiar with what The Amazing Race was. And when she asked me at first, I was nah, dude, I'm not trying to be running around no countries, jogging, whatever. But then when I started to rewatch it, I was actually, I can do this. I'm very good at navigation. Bernie and I are very yin and yang, so we have a lot of complementing things that could and would carry us through the race. So I was you know what? Heck yeah. We could do this.
It took a little convincing to get her to say yes to doing it, but we got her there.
The casting process is draining. It takes a lot. It
is a whole process. I did not know. We had auditioned for a different show the year before, so I kind of had an idea of okay, this is the process of things. But this one was unlike
paperwork after paperwork and
psych evaluations and all this stuff, and it's whoa, you did not know that all that went into it.
So luckily Bernie had been applying for other shows, so she kind of knew the process, and I was cool, I'm just gonna let you hold my hand. And actually a lot of people don't know this, but I think we did this 3 months before we left, so I had to get the entire process done 3 months before I left. And it wasn't so much convincing about going on the show. It was about putting my life on hold. I work a lot, Bernie, and I have a lot of projects that really mean a lot to us that are very time sensitive. And I was I just don't know if I can make it. I just don't know if I can really commit to putting everything on pause right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you don't get the security of actually you're going until like a month before. So like it is.
And then all of a
really
sudden you have to
draining.
like drop everything.
But here's the question: was it totally worth it?
Oh, absolutely. I would do it 1,000 times.
I'm ready for Phil to be like, yo, I know you guys had the most growth in the show. Let's give you a second chance. Let's do it. Because
like All Stars, here we come.
I think that's a common yes, All Stars. That is a common thing. Like anybody who's ever been on the race, whether they've had a great experience, a mediocre experience, or a bad experience, all want to do it again. Everyone I've ever talked to, they're like, we'll do it again in a heartbeat.
Best time of my life, best experience of my life. I mean, I know people were like, but you were eliminated so early. And I was like, it doesn't matter. Like the experience, everything that we did, even in that time, I mean, it just, wow, just absolutely amazing. Like it's the best word that they've chosen for the show because it's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And I already have a list of all the things that I need to work on and we need to be better at together.
Right? I do want to hear those. We were telling Carrigain a little bit earlier, like pretty much the focus that we want to do in these recaps as well is like being a little bit more of a teaching center for future racers. So like as well, if you're thinking about coming on an All Stars, you might not give all your secrets away, but just saying.
Good point. Not even thinking over here, César. I was about to tell the whole world everything.
Hey, I've been.
What do they say? Hold your cards close to your chest, like like only give a little bit away. We like to share everything. We like to give all the tips we can because that's how we learned to get on to do well on the race and kind of think about all these different things.
I don't know. I'm still hoping for an all-winner season. So like if that happens.
Oh wait, I almost crossed my fingers and I was like, wait, I didn't win. Let's just do All Stars so we can go together and we can.
You don't have to be a winner. Okay?
All Stars with winners.
Yes, all
we can do like matching outfits. You know what I mean? We can be like the cutest outfits of our season. You know.
I really like your outfits. Like, what was it, Bernie? You had like this little like,
and you also had like the matching headband that I really liked.
Also, the shorts that have the little it was.
We had to spice up that color gray. Okay, we got color gray. That was so sad.
Yeah. That was like when they gave us our color. They tried to switch it on us, and then of course they were like, but knowing the gays, you probably already shopped for everything, and we're like,
yeah, everything is arriving. Yeah.
I have complaints, but it's fine.
Yeah, but I mean, we spice it up with our shirts. Like we ended up like.
You guys had your Hawaiian shirts. I think that was perfect.
I was like, I don't know. You have to be memorable on those first pictures. Like you have to leave an impression, and I don't know. I was like, Ricky, we need to put a little bit more.
And we're both very like extroverted. We're both very like animated, fun, loud people. And so I was like, race doesn't fit our personality. Like we need something that like shows who we are. And then we can talk to you about this. There's a backstory to these bandanas. So it's not only about the color and spicing it up, but we do have something that this bandana relates to personally for us.
Do you want to share it now?
Share it
okay. I don't know when we're doing things. So
it's fluid.
This is the thing that I wish you guys would have, I wish they would have aired this on The Amazing Race, but Bernie and I actually met because I asked her to be part of my dragon boat team many years ago. And I have a lot of family and friends from Puerto Rico. And so we got the opportunity to compete in Puerto Rico doing dragon boat. So this was a very special moment for me. I was so excited to have, my best friend come to Puerto Rico with me, experience my land, and then also do dragon boat with me. And when we went, we got to wear these bandanas. So it was like just a great reminder of like our friendship and one of our favorite competitions that we've done together. So, that's why we have this beautiful bandana.
I love that.
And just to add to it, when we raced there, we actually also raced with like a bunch of random paddlers. So we didn't have like a solid team. So just kind of shows of like adapting, right? You have to be able to adapt to a boat of 20 people that you've never worked together. You only have maybe 90 minutes of maybe an hour of practice in the water, getting in sync together before going and competing. And we ended up getting third place. Okay. Third place with a bunch of people that don't know each other, having to figure out each other. So again, just proves that Bernie can do anything. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
And it proves that I'm strong. Okay.
Listen, let's make it clear. Carrigain is also strong, okay? I've never, ever said that she's not a strong individual. She is.
I just want everybody else to know also. Huh?
We got to see
We
that,
got to see it.
that
It
you're
was
both
there.
like really strong and
Yeah.
competitive. Like we got that sense. And that's pretty much like, yeah, we wanted like this story, for example, it gives us more about like why you deserve to be on the race. And
Yeah, and how it really helped you do well. Like being adaptable and flexible is like one of the biggest things that we say, like, this is what you need for the race. Because if you're like stuck in this mindset and you know, and you can't get out of it or move along or pick out different skills that you have, like you won't do well on the race. And it's
you need to be adaptable.
Yeah.
I will say the hardest thing one of the things for us was just the stress level, because I would say it didn't totally show that we were adaptable or able to like roll with the punches and like keep it moving. But I promise in our day-to-days we can.
I think we showed that a little bit
more with me, with my, no. She'll let me say no 100 times and she'll take the 101th no. But when it has that stress of every decision matters, we're on the clock, we don't know where everyone is at, all that extra stress, we didn't fully realize like, oh shoot, how can we manage ourselves? Because we can manage ourselves in the real world how we are with each other. But when we were in the stress high situation, being ourselves, we were kind of irking each other. So we kind of had to learn as the game was going how to adapt, or me pour into her as she's pouring into me, so we're both not feeling stressed or emotionally drained, because it can be.
I think we adapted a little bit. Like technically, I'm a little bit more musically inclined. Bernie crushed it at the drums. Absolutely crushed it. It was beautiful. It was amazing. Yeah. But if you were to look at that, like if that was between me and Bernie at home on the couch, she would have been like, no, you're doing drums. Like,
right.
And then same with Kamari. Like I play a lot of sports, none of them with balls. Bernie's the complete opposite. So like, when we had to do the Kamari in Japan, I was like, shoot, this is not my challenge. This is something that Bernie could take out in 5 seconds. But during that challenge, we really stayed calm. We just breathed through it. She just kept supporting me, kept pouring into me. And I was just like, I know it's not going to go well. I know I'm not going to get in and out, but we're going to get it done, Yeah. So, but like you said, nobody knows our story as much. So those things you don't see as much adaptability because you're like, whatever, Carrigain just sucks at soccer, which is like not a lie. But, but I gave it my best, okay?
She did, okay? She got it done. At some point, I'm like, are we going to... Yeah. I don't know. In my head, I was like, it's a numbers game. She just has to keep trying. Eventually, she's going to get 5 in a row.
Statistically.
I mean, that's something that, for us at least, like Ricky said, like, if anything, like, we're just not going to give up. Like, Phil will have to come and, like, get us, like,
drag me off of the course. I will not be
working until exactly y'all said. I either have to see Phil come and get me, or I'm going to go see you at the mat, but... we're gonna finish, okay? We are going to finish.
We make mention like when they showed like that interaction in the airport with Scott and Laurie, they were there and you guys were talking. Like I said it, it's a situation that you're being thrown at. Like you're never under this much stress. Yes, you might be under stress of the Dragon Boat, but that is a situation that you both know what you're heading to that competition knowing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Over here,
and
like
your body kind of like clicks into the rhythm of muscle memory and all of that routine.
And as friends, you're usually like celebrating or like sharing,
like having a good time, and you're confiding in each other, but you're not like.
But what I said there, I was like, I'm just hoping that they learn that like something is not clicking, and like they use it as an advantage, and just like that, like supporting each other, we got to see it later. Like it actually, like having that conversation that early in that airport. Like it really got you going into like, okay, something is not working. Like let's figure it out and like let's just.
No, exactly. Right off the back, we were yin and yang was not yin and yang. And I was like, what the freak is happening here? So, and that's kind of, we're just very passionate individuals. We don't mean to like, at least we didn't. I don't know. We were just having a passionate conversation. Others see it as arguing or fighting. We were just sharing our emotions. We have no filter, so we just say it how it is, whether it's going to hurt each other's feelings. Now we're like, I love you, so I'm just going to say it how it is. And then you're going to take it in. We're going to take 5-10 minutes to ourselves to, okay, what the heck did she just say to me? Okay, now let me fix it. Because we love each other, and we will hear each other out. it was a little bit more fiery and passionate for.
And that's why you
average
were great
Joe.
television. It's like,
Yes.
But
That's
like you
what
said,
we
it
want.
was needed. We needed to let it out. We needed to be let out so we can keep moving forward and fix it.
I mean, like she said, we have a lot of strengths that are very similar, and it's like on the race, it's very hard to know if you're making the right decision. You know, it could be one small decision. You're like, is this the right answer? Is it not? Like, and then when both strong people are like, well, we view it differently, and we're like, I want to trust you, I want to trust you, I want to trust you, but what's the right answer? But we only have 5 seconds. Like, it's hard. You know what I mean? So, I appreciate that outtake because yes, we were like, you know what? If this is how the first date's gonna go, it's not going to work out. So we need to correct this now so that we can move forward, as opposed to it like, coming really ugly later or something like that, where it was like a big issue. But, in the real world, when we're traveling together, New York, Hong Kong, Puerto Rico, like I have time to let her be wrong and tell me 100 times no. Amazing Race, I don't have the time, right?
Yeah, it's like you have to fix it right there and then and like move on.
Exactly.
Yeah. With that said, I want to go because we did our exit interview with the Gay Amazing Race. We were talking a little bit about it, but I want to know like what happened in the airport, like and also like on the travel agency, because you knew that you didn't have enough time to make it to the airport.
So you're wanting to jump into the episode.
Well, yes,
So,
a little bit.
So
like,
so you guys
but,
get to
we can still
you guys get to the travel agency, right? And you're the last team to get there. What's going through your head? How are you feeling? Like, how can we catch up? Like, what's going on?
So when we get to the travel agency, when we look at the clock, they're literally like the plane is like getting ready to go. Like by the time that we would have made it to the airport, the plane would have already been gone that all the other teams are on. For us,
do you remember how far the drive was? I can't remember, but I feel like it wasn't like a 10-minute drive.
No, it was like a 40-minute drive. So as you can see, we're at the travel, and I rewatched this yesterday or whatever day. And
I did too. We keep people on our ass. And okay, what time did we get there? We got there at 5:38. Okay, how long did it take us to get to the airport or actually even get our tickets? I couldn't remember what time we even got to the actual
We got to the
airport.
travel agency literally when the other plane was taking off. Like it was 5 a.m. I think Han and Holden had gotten there, and we still got there later. Yeah. So when we're at the travel agency, I think we were trying our best to still like problem solve, figure it out what we're gonna do.
And instead of like push back. I know they didn't show it, but I did ask a couple times, like, "Are you sure we can't get on this flight? We will make it. Just put us on it, and I'll deal with it later at the airport."
But we had also
they're like, "You're not gonna make it, girl." I was like,
yeah, they're like, "You're not gonna make it to the airport in time to catch this flight at all."
Yeah.
And she did ask, she did push back. I even asked. We wrote down in our journal. Where is their layover? Because I figured if we could at least catch a flight to wherever they lay over at, then we could get onto that flight. So we did ask them. She was really nice about the travel agency was really nice about it. We wrote down where their layover was. And when we got to the airport, we did go to different kiosks to see like if we could even just get to that layover. Like, okay, if I could get to this layover spot, then I could catch it, as opposed to like trying to catch the whole flight to Bali, right? But we just had no luck. Like there was just no flights to that layover. Like there was pretty much nothing that we can do. But I think we even like a lot of the kiosks weren't even open. I think we even waited in line at the airport for the kiosk to open so that we could ask them like, okay, this kiosk said no, this airline said no, this airline said no. I mean, but we at the airport exhausted all of our resources before we even went through security.
Yes. Yeah. I love hearing that. Like you did not like just give up and say like, okay, well, this is our fate, right? You were like working for it. Like this is true, like super fan, like awesome move to just like try and pick out everything. I think what people, don't see, like they don't see any of this. Like just because you're not on screen, you are still racing and every little moment counts.
And I think what people also don't see is like, even though like constantly getting told no or constantly trying something different and like it's another block, another no, or another wall, another stop, you need to try something else. Like even in the real world, right? We as humans like constantly getting no, we get shut down. Like, well, why are we still trying? So constantly like not being able to get anything done and then feeling like we're 3 hours behind, like that mentally was a toll on, I mean, both of us. I think I have practiced to overcome those a little bit, but I know for my Carrigain, that was a lot to take in, and then it just never stopped. Things just kept adding on to it, and at some point Carrigain was like, you know what? I'm over this shit. No more. I can't handle this anymore.
I just like, as you know from filming, what a lot of people don't understand is like, even if the teams are ahead of you, you might see them in the airport. Like they might be on a different flight, whatever. You'll see other production, you'll see other crew members. And so to really just feel like it, we were alone. That gives you
light. When you see something, it gives you like energy. Keep going, sorry.
When you're just like alone, you're like, wow, it's just me. Like, am I even still on The Amazing Race? Like, where am I? I don't know what world I'm in right now. Like, I haven't even seen another team. Like, these teams are probably all just like relaxed, like, oh, I'm not even thinking about Bernie and Carrigain. But I already felt so like outcasted too. I was like, oh my gosh. Like,
and then the worst part is the poker face of the camera person and the audio person. Like they don't give anything away. Like it's like, am I doing good? Like nope. They're just
trying to throw balls. Like, am I gonna see Phil at the airport? Give me yes, give me no, nothing. Oh, okay.
We're like trying to calculate, right? We're like, okay, if they land at this time, how long will it take them to get to where like the pit stop is, and if they complete the pit stop, or like not the pit stop, if they complete the roadblock or the detour before we even land, does that mean like we're already
and we're all landing kind of late? So we're like, is anything gonna even be open this late? Like, oh my god,
which is great. I mean, it played out great for you, the fact that it was close. And then just my other question was like, how far was once you landed? Because it was then Pasar. Like, how far was it from where you landed to the place that you needed to go?
An hour.
An hour?
It was a long.
Whoa.
And it's like pitch black, right? So after you get through the city, like the back roads to get to the temple, pitch black. We could barely see out of the windows. And so it was just really challenging. It was a long day to be like, shoot. And now we're like an hour. So not only are we like 3 to 4 hours behind, we're now an hour behind from our next clue. Like, what does that even mean? Are we racing overnight? And like she said, we're like, okay, what can we do at night? Like, is it indoor? Is it like nighttime soccer? Is it like night volleyball?
Again, I love this. Like the fact that you're thinking
like
you're
not just
what
like, oh, here we are in the car.
Yeah.
No, my brain does not do that. It goes 1,000. I have too many ideas, which is why Carrigain, gets a little irritated with your girl. Because too many things. Oh, what could be this? What could be that? What about that?
That shows how competitive you are.
All the factors and. Yeah, I love that. And so then you get there and then you see like everybody pulls. Like,
was that
wasn't even there? So everybody pulled their number. So when we came, I'm like mixed emotions about them like not airing this, but like it's really funny because we get there, we see the board and it says your clue will come with the rising sun, right? And I'm thinking at this point, I think it's a joke. So I'm like looking underneath stuff. I'm like, yeah, we're looking where like the light is shining. I'm like, Bernie, this light is shining here. Like there has to be like a secret clue. Like we're looking everywhere but the number 10.
We're delusional at this point. Again, the camera crew are just letting us be delusional. We're over here like, where can it be? Do we go over here? I don't know. Where's everyone else at? Are they sleeping on the street? Do we go find shelter on the street till the sun comes out? What's our next step? I don't know what to do.
We were going to sleep on those stairs. We were 100%. We said we're clue number 10. If this opens at 8 a.m., we're sleeping right here. Like, I'm sleeping on these stairs. Like, where is the clue? This is a prank. Like, where's Ashton Kutcher? Because we were ready.
We turned it into a 1, actually. 0, 1.
Just like you raised it.
Like, I don't know what you're talking about. This is a 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we heard from another team that night you slept on a hotel, and then magic television happens. You come back and like everything is ready. I mean, because everyone arrived really happily and well rested for the
ATV.
Thank you, ATV.
That's the other question
that I had for you. Do you speak any other languages?
Yo sí hablo español, es mi primer idioma.
Igual.
Mi familia es de México.
As you could see a lot. ¿Perdón?
Mi familia es de Ciudad Juárez, de México.
¿De Juárez de Chihuahua?
Chihuahua.
Ya, yo soy de Chihuahua también.
Hey.
Yeah.
All right.
Look at that.
My Spanish is not that good, but we're learning. We're getting there.
My Spanish is
yeah.
I get
well, I mean, some
judgment
people
because it's not good.
the fact is, like, the 10 words that Ricky knows in Spanish, they show them on the race, and some people were like, "Oh, that's so unfair. They both speak Spanish.
Bilingual.
They both are fluent." They were like, "Nope."
Like,
I can speak Spanish when I need to place an order. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's about it. Yeah.
Tacos. What is it?
Tortas,
Torta, burrito,
tostones.
And that's about it.
Yeah. And I also feel like this was something that didn't really come up in the show either. Like your Latina like background.
They showed a small clip when I was talking about being mixed, and Bernie and I, when we wanted to come on the race, representation was super important for us. We feel like there's not a lot of Hispanic, Latinx people on TV or in competition reality TV, especially, we just feel like there's not a lot of representation for people like us. And, Bernie's family being from Mexico and my family being mixed, half Spanish, half Black, half Native American, I guess thirds, if you will. But it was really important to us.
Not mathing, but okay. I'm just kidding.
Girl, I'm an esthetician, not a mathematician, okay? But, it was really important to us. I was like, I want a little girl, I remember being me and looking at her TV, or even being myself now. And I was like, I want someone who looks like me and like someone who looks like Bernie that's like, oh, snap. Like, I'm just like them. Like, I can go on the Amazing Race. I can run. I can play football. I can do dragon boat. You know what I mean? So it was really important to us to show up for our culture and for our community. So I think that was one of the biggest messages that we brought to making it onto the Amazing Race.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. And it's a shame that they didn't show it even more, because like that's part of it. Like for us was like, we're like average body people. Like we're like, and they were like
people and like.
So it's like, again, like you see it a little bit more, but like you don't see someone succeed in something that is called a race, right? And like we like, and even that's an idea that we were bringing ourselves. Like that orientation week, we were lining up everyone, and we were like, we're the bottom of the barrel. Like we're like if something really physical comes, like we might not make it as So
and that's what I tell everybody that's like, but I'm not physically strong. I'm like, you don't have to be physically strong. I promise. Exactly. That's like the last criteria that you have to have. The biggest criteria you have to have is being able to work with your partner, communicating with your partner.
Yeah.
And if you can have that, I think you're a lot farther ahead than other teams.
But I am really proud to be part of. I feel like we have one of the most diverse casts. Like if you look at the cast as a whole, all 14 teams, like there's a lot of diversity there, not only with
age,
race or ethnicity, but age queerness. Like how cool to be on like one of the queerest seasons. Like
literally.
I feel like even though we didn't get our personal representation story, I feel like it a little bit speaks for itself when you take a look.
Yeah, it's really nice. I think you hit the nail on the head. Like being able to see yourself on TV is just so important, and especially in a show like this that has kind of evolved. Like it was always like a family show, but there was some drama. There's like a lot of stuff. But I feel like the past couple of seasons, and even though there's drama and stuff in your season,
there's always a connection. You connect with all the teams.
Like, there's always a familial connection. Like you have somebody in your family that's like that. Or I have students who like watch it with their family, and I'm a preschool teacher, so like they're babies, so like they're watching and like they're excited about it, and just we get messages from families saying all the time like, our 10 or 12-year-old like love the show, and it's really important that
they see themselves there.
They see this, and not to like nag on other reality shows, but like the drama. Like that is what the show is about. And the race, although there is drama, that's not what the show is about.
Exactly.
It's about the relationships. It's about these people's backgrounds and like being resilient and how you work with your partner, right? And it's like the show is just so unique.
Yes.
Something super random, but something I feel like they should. Oh, who brought it up? I was listening to a podcast. Oh no, it wasn't a podcast. One of my clients was telling me that that they love seeing other relationships, but they would also like to see more of the teams communicating and bonding more. Mm-hmm. We're always like stuck in our own taxis, or like maybe if we had more transportation that were together, so teams can start bonding and there is more of that relationship, because then it makes decisions a little bit harder because you are bonding with another. Now you don't just see each other as like you're my competition. You're like, oh, you're my competition, but you also have a little string because we just talked about X, Y, and Z that was familiar together. I mean, I think viewers would also probably appreciate seeing how like the teams can also mush and be one, even though we're trying to compete with each other as well.
I mean, that's a cool thing about this season with all the twists.
There is more interaction with each other. That is true.
That's what sucks about, like, I feel like some super fan stuff and studying, right? Like, we did study, Bernie and I, like, you know, but like, then to have a season full of surprises, you're like, hold on, Phil.
You're like, what's happening here?
I'm just getting used to the game. Now you're changing it.
Yeah, He's like, this is not what I studied. This didn't.
Which is like also cool because it's like, oh snap, like I'm in the season of surprises, like one honor, and also
no thank you. Like, I'll be back.
Also, Jack and Carson in the chat, Lewis is in the chat, and they're calling out Carrigain.
Oh, thanks. I love that.
You're slaying. I'm like, damn, over here look like a scrub. I look like a person. You look like an esthetician, and I look like a personal trainer.
Exactly. I just came from the spa. I was filming content, you know.
All right, working it out. Oh, speaking of content, I wanted to just blast this on here since maybe if someone's watching. Check out Bernie and Carrigain on Instagram. And are you guys on TikTok too?
No.
I am, but it doesn't get used. But it's Bernie Fit. You'll find me.
Okay. All right. Check them out. Check them out on Instagram.
Thank you.
Should we get back to the
Yeah. We can get back to the race.
Also, my cat.
Anyway, you wake up. You're on an ATV.
Sorry, Carrigain was saying something.
Oh,
sorry, my cat comes in and out, and if you hear random yelling, it's from my cat. So I'm sorry.
They can make a cameo if they want.
Yeah, she'll come on.
ATV. Have you ever driven an ATV before?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've actually always been. No, I've driven one, but just not that fast because I normally have like behind.
Okay, so that's a question we had because
did they like put a stopper on the throttle at all? Like, could you go as fast as you wanted, or did they like put a safety on it?
So there was our camera crew was in front of us.
Okay.
So like a pace.
So they would.
So we had like a pacer. We had somebody to follow. So we technically our speed was their speed.
But did Bernie push it? Absolutely.
I mean, but that close to running over their feet, they better move them or go faster. Dang it!
The camera would be like this. Like,
literally, like keep moving.
And we had like one of the tallest camera guys, like our first leg or two. So that poor guy's like feet are dangling off the back, and I can just see like Bernie just like breaking his foot. I'm like, oh my
gosh. I asked this question because in our dune buggies, like we had to drive. I was like, okay, there was nobody. I think we had GoPros in there. I don't think
we had GoPros, but we asked later.
So I'm like hitting. I'm like pedal literally to the floor, and it like wasn't going anywhere. I was like, what the heck? I was like slamming. I was like, what is happening?
30 miles an hour only.
So the previous day when they were testing it, they realized like, oh, this can go too fast. Let's put a safety on the throttle so they can't go fast. And I was like,
look at you using fancy words.
Well, there was also like points where we would have to stop and let another team come through. So like the teams that went before us, like some of the stuff intersected. So maybe this team would be coming in. So our pacer would stop, that team would come, and then we would continue. I also feel like, which I didn't think about until I was watching this with one of my friends, but she was like, wait, I feel like it's more slick and more deep. So I feel like because we were the last team to go, because people had already gone downhill and like had rubbed it, ours was like a lot slicker. And then even in the waterfall, I was like looking and I was like, wow, the water does look like a little bit deeper. I felt a little bit muddier than I felt like some other teams, because by the time like every ATV had gone through. So I don't know if they had a throttle option. I think they just had the pacers there to make sure that we didn't actually like T-bone each other in the jungle of Bali.
That thing was letting me go. I had to keep hitting the brakes. I don't think it had enough stop. It was gonna let me
I wanted to wait for teams to pass each other.
Yeah, that would have been a cool chance. Like,
listen, I was so excited. I was like, girl, this is where we're gonna catch up. I'm gonna pass at least half these teams. They better get going, because as soon as I can go, we're moving. And then I see that we can't even.
Yeah.
Little Mario Kart, just like hit somebody.
I mean, that's why I was pushing it on my person. I was like, come on, I can go a little faster. Just keep going. Just keep going.
Like just.
Yeah, that would have been really fun.
It was
I've never
Driving
driven
into
one.
The cave was like the craziest thing ever.
Everyone's reaction was hilarious. They're like, oh, what's happening?
I was like, wait, am I really going through there? Do we even fit through there? Oh shit, Carrigain, make sure your feet and hands are in because we're going. I had a couple curb checks.
Okay.
But it looked really cool.
Shit.
That was a fun way to start the leg.
Yeah,
like,
what a cool way
like
to kind of start.
It was so amazing. Everyone was so happy. I felt like our cheeks hurt so much from like smiling consistently. I mean, just the highlight.
Mm-hmm.
I wish they would have shown a little bit more the surrounding because we were getting that mud. Yeah, I'm a dirty girl. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. But like to be in the jungle, I mean, it was one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen, and there's no cap. I mean, like I think even like there's a moment of Han and Holden like having like a blissful moment, and I remember Bernie and I having those too. I mean, it was just absolutely beautiful, so lush, so many mountains. I mean, it was.
I'm glad you were able to like take a moment and soak it in because you really don't get many of those.
Like that was probably the one time we could actually like not be stressed about game. Like, what was this? What it
is? What is it gonna be? Like,
literally, let's just enjoy.
Enjoy it. Yeah.
And then after all the enjoyment, we get to the
drama
driver's seat.
Start with such a high to then.
Yeah, I know.
And
the driver's seat.
I was a little. I was skeptical about how this was going to play out when they announced it the previous episode. They're like the driver's seat, blah blah blah, and I was like, oh, it was a very interesting twist.
I think it's just so malicious that they put it before the U-turn. But I guess that's going to make for a really nice episode next week.
They know what they're doing. They want to spice things
up.
Yeah,
exactly.
More to think about for that U-turn. They lucky I didn't make it to the U-turn because...
I really think it was misused. I don't think they used it properly. And I
1,000% misused. But I want to know, Ricky and César, do you guys think it was an accident or... they're lying through their teeth? Go.
I heard you talking about this in an interview. I think in their franticness, they made harsh, like too quick of decisions. I think they could have thought through things a little bit more. Was it an accident?
It was not an accident.
Accident was them. Oh, we didn't assign ourselves one, right? So that's like an accident. Like,
but it's still like
but that's not thinking through something. So I don't know. I think in the race, everybody is especially knowing and getting to know Jonathan, like he is strategic. You can see he's competitive. So there are moments when like you have to be thinking about this. You have all this time overnight.
We were told at the end of the leg that there was going to be a driver's seat.
In Kyoto.
Oh, in Kyoto.
They told us, we didn't know we were going to be in a race and it was going to be 15,
yeah.
But they told us it was going to be somebody be in charge of distributing.
They told you.
What was everyone going to do?
Yeah.
So, again, right, you just said Jonathan is strategic. He's competitive. You're trying to tell me y'all put no thought into what you guys would do, especially a team that's most likely going to be at the driver's seat.
Yeah.
You put no thought into what you guys would do.
No, there was definitely thought behind it. I think they were thinking, let's just get it done. Because what they ended up doing was they assigned themselves 15, but then used the express pass, which is like cool, fine, and dandy. Use your express pass, but in a social type of season, give that 15 to somebody else.
I mean, why would they give you? Yeah, I mean, it's just why would they give you?
Like I said, I wouldn't care if it was just honesty. Hey, you guys are already at the back. You're already in 10th place. Yeah. Like I'm gonna take you out. It's one less person for me, and then I know that you're not gonna U-turn me, right? Because you're already at the back of the pack. I can push you back. That I'd be like, you know what? I'm not happy, but it's game. It's
the game's a game, right?
The game's a game.
Like you guys mentioned though too, right? If they were gonna think about using the express pass, throwing a bone to us, giving us 15, and then we would have made it through the leg. Now you have an ally at the bottom
Yeah.
Now we can kind of help potentially you not get U-turned or whatever is going to come up next.
Yeah.
We can now potentially help talk to the bottom to protect you if you were to throw a bone. And if we would have obviously made it through the leg. But that, like I said, there's a lot of, like, kind of like as you mentioned, I don't think it was an accident. I think they thought through it. They were maybe a little hectic and maybe made some mistakes here and there while they were putting things on there. But yeah, they, at the end of the day, however they used it, it was wrong. They didn't benefit from it.
No.
Lori and freaking Scott were still on their tails. So even giving them 25 wasn't a solution.
Wasn't enough.
They,
Yeah.
exactly. So they, like you said, they should have just done the 15 and or thrown a bone and done the express pass to keep it moving. But I think any Amazing Racer fan thinks that they screwed up a lot of
It was a
lot
double
of power.
screwed up because then they used express pass and the express pass was pretty much wasted. Like it was just not.
Yeah, I feel like an express pass is for like that last stitch effort. Like we're struggling with this. Like Anna's strong. Like she could
She
have
could have done
done
it. She didn't even
15
try.
pounds.
But I feel like
So
that comes into like,
Well-
and I'm sorry, no tea, no shade, Jonathan. I know this is not going to come out right, but I think that goes to like believing in your partner because you're like, oh, it's 15 pounds. You can't even do that. Let's just use express pass. When you could have thought like, I'm probably going to get U-turned for this. I'm already at the head of the pack. I've been at the head of the pack. That's my goal. Like, I don't even believe that my strong, like Anna's strong, lovely. I know that doesn't matter when it comes to rice, but she's gorgeous. But like, I don't even believe in my strong, lovely partner that they can at least do 15 pounds, but it's fine for Bernie and Carrigain to do 25, right? So it's like, you know, at least do the 15 pounds because we're in the driver's seat. We're still ahead. We might get U-turned for this.
Yeah.
And if we're to get U-turned for this, then I have the express pass.
Yeah. Because then I feel like they were just trying to run away from there, like, and avoid the
Yeah.
drama. And like,
well, it's funny because he makes a comment. He's like, rice threshing is like really time consuming. And I thought to myself, how does he know it's time consuming?
And
I
everything
just
on
wondered-
Amazing Race is time consuming. When they leave the board, he says, Jonathan says he likes the placement.
Yeah.
Nowhere there did they say, oh shit, we fucked up with Bernie and Carrigain. Sorry, I'm still stuck at them lying that they made a mistake.
Listen, as time goes on, you will forgive and forget.
But just to make it known out there, I don't hate Jonathan and Anna.
No.
Not even a
is
little bit.
Come on.
I am still waiting. Hopefully they listen to this at some point. I am still waiting for one of them to message me. Like I'm waiting for a text, a call. Have I not? Still till this moment, I've not gotten anything from them being like, haha, I'm so sorry. I don't even need an apology, but just let's have a conversation.
It's like, hey, it's the game.
Exactly. Like I'm
This is
truly
the
not mad at
competition
it.
we're in.
It's fun to talk about it, and I do think they used it poorly, so that's fine too.
it's gonna be on a sing telegram. Like
Yes, you're gonna get a singing telegram from them. You just
I bet everything.
That would make me
Everything
less
coming
happy. I'd be like, what the hell? I mean, I feel a little bit more cool about it than Bernie. I did send Anna a DM asking her if I could make this really funny reel about it. And she said it was okay. We haven't made the reel, but like,
yeah. But you have a bond, like even over this thing that like makes you frustrated, and, like you have this camaraderie and connection that like a group of people, even other racers, don't understand.
Yeah.
So like it's cool, you'll
I see myself a lot in Jonathan anyway, so I'm just like, ooh, I can be, ooh.
Listen, competition, it gets you. We're also very competitive. Like I was actually worried. I say this a couple of times. So like I was worried that I was going to come off as boring.
Mm.
I don't remember having a good time like during a challenge. I remember being focused and like on laser.
Get this done and let's get out of
Yeah,
here.
pretty much just like let's
So
get.
I
out of
get it.
here.
I get what it's like to be and have high expectations. But yeah.
I'm competitive. I think I just wanted to enjoy and have a little bit more fun. I mean,
Yeah.
like the lion dancing was a dream. I guess that's my biggest pet
Yes.
peeve. The lion dancing was a dream for me. I've always wanted to lion dance. I love lion dancing. I've seen it a million times. So when I got to find out I was gonna do that, I was stoked. Best time of my life. I was like, oh my gosh. And I felt like nobody could beat me at that challenge just because of how happy I was when I got to lion dance. I was like, I don't care. Nobody's beating me. I don't care if you got there first. I don't want to hear it. I am living my lion dancing dreams.
I love it.
It is, and then everybody and myself was like, "Oh, there's no photos of you. There's no video of you line dancing." I'm like, "I know, I know."
But I did it. I
I
promise.
promise, it's in my memory.
I asked Phil many times if I could keep those pants, which they said no. But I feel like it's good to like kind of realize that, because there's no way that I would have wanted to carry those pants the rest of the rest of the week. You know what I mean?
No.
You would just be dropping.
Yeah, you would
things
end up
left and
dropping
right.
it.
Oh yeah. The next Bernie would be like, "Bro, I'm not packing this."
Like, you're wearing it. You choose.
Either you wear it the rest of the race.
I would have been throwing rice in my lion dancing pants, like.
That would be iconic.
Yeah. Speaking of, like, was there something, like, since you felt so connected to like the dancing, I think I heard you in an interview saying like you're a strong dancer. Like, did you grow up dancing?
I did grow up dancing, nothing like in the traditional sense, but my family were all dancers. We loved to dance. I grew up dancing salsa, bachata, cumbia, merengue.
Nice.
Then when I went to school, like high school, I started to do more like hip hop, and luckily I was blessed. I went to a high school that had a lot of different cultures, so I was exposed to a lot of different cultural dancing.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I feel like we were right at that point in the fork of the road where people were like, shoot, like you're kind of forced to dance. I don't know if I would have chosen that. I probably would have chose singing because you would have been first to singing. But I just knew in my ability. I knew I was a strong dancer. I knew I was like, some of the teams in my mind, I was like, I can beat some of those teams dancing. I can outdance those teams that are there first. It's going to be a piece of cake for me. And you know what? I'm glad I stood by that decision, because when you watch the show, when you're in the show, there's so many ways to be like, oh, I don't know if that's the strategy I would have chose, or I don't know if that's what I would have done. Right. But I knew, I was like, I'm a good dancer. I'm out dancing these fools. Bernie's got it. We're going to do this. And it paid off, because I feel like if Bernie and I sang, we would have went home. we would have been sent home that day.
Well, you made the right choice.
Jackie and Lauren would have caught up to ours. We would have still been there.
We would have been crying on the shuttle together, I'll tell you.
That singing seemed really good.
It's fun.
That was probably the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. I'm not gonna lie.
The singing.
Yes, I could not stop laughing. I said, "Oh my gosh, thank you for having my abs hurt so bad right now, because this is hilarious. Seeing people with all this makeup, singing words I don't even know what you're saying. I'm just like, but it was the funniest thing ever."
I hate to do this, but I need to get on my soapbox for a second. We are going to go back to the rice.
Okay, go.
So, mostly because I just want everybody to stop talking, right? But I feel like there's a lot of comments that I could have done better at the rice. I could have done better with the rice, whatever. What? Don't even start, Brittany, because I will fly to Dallas so fast.
I don't know what you're about to say. I'm just like, what is it coming out of her mouth?
But here's the thing. What's really hard about The Amazing Race is when people don't understand your strategy, right? Mm-hmm. So, and this is just for viewers out there, but like everybody's like, you had a smaller bundle, all this and that. But when I got to the rice, where people were weighing their bags, they actually wouldn't get approved because they're like, their rice was like so dirty. Like they had all this debris in there. Yeah. So then they're like kneeling down in the mud with like a 20-pound bag of rice, like picking all these weeds out and like cleaning their rice essentially. And so when I went in, I was like, okay, if I just do a smaller load really quick, I can like brush up all the rice into the bag and not have to clean it as much at the end. And that's all I'm going to say. I have a different strategy, whatever. Don't come for me. And if you're going to come for me, at me and be prepared for the smoke. That's all I got to say.
And let me find out you're coming at her and I'm coming for you. Okay. And you don't want
to. I'm just going to say, if you're going to say it to my face.
Yeah.
Consequences.
Well, that's the thing. Like I did notice that you had smaller bundles, but I didn't even, I know everybody has a strategy, right? That you saw some teams that were just like brute force, grab as much as I possibly can. But you're right. Like you can't get a pass with all of that stuff in there. So you have to take the time. So you were being proactive.
I was being proactive, and we just didn't have as much time too. Like when you see Lori, she's a freaking superhero. She did it faster than production. She was the fastest person to ever do the rice in the whole show, right? But like Bernie said, sometimes it's that mental strength. Like in my head, when I watched it, I was so surprised. And even when Bernie and I talked about it, I was so surprised because in my head, when I get to the rice, the only person I see is Jeff. That's it. That's the only person I see. right? So I'm thinking it's between me and Jeff. I see Jeff has a bag, and his bag is like pretty full. And I'm thinking like, oh snap, Jeff and I have 25 pounds. Jeff's bag is like halfway full and he's not even done yet. I'm starting from 0. So in my mind, that's where I was at. I didn't even know there was like 2 other teams there or however many other teams there.
Or that there was a team behind us.
Yes. And then I started hearing her say there's a team behind us. And I'm like, okay, I can do this. I have 25. I can do this.
Yeah.
And this is the part where I'm probably too much of a softie. But like, it really shook me because I'm thinking the team behind me is a team that I can beat. I'm thinking the team behind me is like, whatever, you got lost, blah, blah, blah. And then freaking the superheroes, Mark and Brett, show up. And I'm like, okay,
Like,
hold on. Not the stiff competition is here behind me. And so I think I just let a few things throw me. Like, I think I was so just exhausted from fighting the feelings of being like 3 hours, 4 hours behind, from fighting the feelings of like, oh snap, I'm letting my partner down, from fighting the feelings of like watching, Jeff, this super strong player, this amazing competitor, have to work through 25 pounds of this rice. And then now that's me. And I'm like, if it's between me and Jeff with some muscles, like, I don't even have to say it. Like, let's
Karen's gonna win. We're working on it. She's gonna win.
We're working on it. I'm gonna win. But
there you go.
But getting in that mental space of like really envisioning like this race coming down to me and Jeff and 25 pounds, and then seeing these competitors that I'm like so in love with and I think are so fierce and so amazing. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Also, we heard that it was insanely hot and humid that day. So
I'm not gonna lie, the heat was getting to me a little bit. I've been in the hot and humid climates, but I just do remember a few parts of really feeling out of it. But then I feel like I just remember there were some parts where I'm like moving and I just feel this heat and I just feel like
everyone was as red as your shirt, César. Okay, I was like, whoa.
Yeah, everybody looked really, really hot.
Yeah.
But you worked through it. You got it done. And I bet you didn't have to get a double check. You went up and got your check and got out. You weren't picking anything.
I periodically got it checked just to see, like, okay, if
am I there?
If I'm halfway done. Yeah, if I was like halfway done, then how much is halfway? And it was really hard. Like, I think there's like one clip of like Melinda cleaning her rice and like some of her rice slips out. And I think I was so frantic and so pissed that like I would do that and then half my rice would spill out and I'd be like, oh
no, I would hate that feeling. It's like, yeah.
We
like,
honestly, that whole leg for us, like we flipped roles. We had talked about who was going to do the rice. We didn't know how to pick rice, but we figured it would be labor related. And we had agreed going to the rice field that I was going to do it. I don't know what energy came at me when I read the sign, but I was like, Carrigain, you do it. Carrigain's like, we literally just said you were going to do it. I'm like, I know, but I think you should do it. And it's like, okay, I guess I'm doing it. And if I would have done the rice, I wouldn't have killed Carrigain in the heat and having to do something that's not her forte. And then I wouldn't have gotten us so freaking lost with direction because that's not even my job. It's supposed to be her job. But we flipped roles because she's tired. So I'm trying to make sure she's like drinking water and staying hydrated. And I'll find those directions. That idea. Because again, I got freaking lost. So we wouldn't have never flipped roles. I truly think we would have probably beat that whole group of people that got there at the same time. Because we wouldn't have been the last to leave. And we wouldn't have been so stressed getting to the next location. And Carrigain would have been in charge of the directions. So we wouldn't have spent another 30 minutes running around with the haircuts off. So I kick myself in the butt all the time that I should have done the rice.
There's a lot of what ifs.
Exactly.
Right? But but I think like do not like try not to torture yourself with those. It's like you got to do it, you got to be there, and I think like it's just
it happens. There's moments in even our race.
And the bogus quote of our season or our journey was like, everything happens for a reason. And like I kept like mentioning to Carrigain, like for whatever reason, we were not meant to continue this race. This was not our time to change our story and change our lives. That time was going to come later down, but it wasn't today. It wasn't at the amazing race. All right. But yeah.
And she's like better at believing in that, but I feel like I saw a lot of signs last week. Like I was thinking like, okay, technically we finished 10th place, right? And then Bernie and I, what were we doing? A number 10 came up and Bernie was like, oh, 10, that's my number. That's my number. And then when I left Dallas last week, my gate was like E10. And I was like, there's something about this 10. Like, there's something that's telling me, like.
And 10 is my favorite number. So I have a bittersweet feeling now with number 10.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute. 10's had my back this whole time. Now I look at 10, I'm like, ugh.
Like, oh no.
So you leave there and you have to do, I can't pronounce either.
Panjor.
Panjor and
Panjang.
but you did Panjor.
Right.
Okay, nice. And I kind of liked this one. I thought it was like kind of a cool challenge, very different than what you just came out of doing, like, you know, super labor intensive. This is super detailed and probably something I would have probably asked us to do. Like, let's do this one.
I think what got you there was the directions to get to actually the detour. But again, you were just being frantic. I'm just like, again, there's the race brain. You're there. You're trying.
It's hot. You're tired. Like, yeah. I never fault really many people for like missing little things like that, because it's like, yeah, sure, there's a sign there, but who's looking really for like this little sign?
Okay, we're like, I'm 5'2", Bernie's probably like 5'5", so like it was definitely out of our line of sight.
Yeah.
I saw when we're coming down from the hill. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me right now? That sign says the 2 words I don't know how to pronounce, but I've read enough that I know that's what those words say.
Yes.
And I'm upset now. And also, like, when we first started getting directions, we had agreed to actually do the one that you put on your head.
Yeah.
But I got the wrong directions. And I immediately, as soon as I realized I got the wrong directions, because, you know, when you look at the clue for both details, at the top and at the bottom, I just went to the top, not realizing I need to go to the bottom. So I immediately tell Carrigain, like, I've just fucked up. I have the wrong address. What do you want to do? Do you want to, like, stay with the address and do the one we didn't want to do, or ask again for directions and do the one we did want to do? And I think at this point, she's just, like, tired, and I was like, girl, I don't freaking care. You make a decision. I'm like, fuck, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Well, at that point, I was just like, you already picked that one. Like, if we're already going there, let's just go there, right? Like, if we pick the directions to the detour, I don't care. Let's just get to it, right? We're already behind. We'll figure it out. We'll get it done.
And then they don't show it, but I didn't just ask the lady, like, hey, where is it? They just point and we just go. No, I asked for a phone, okay? I asked for a phone. That probably doesn't make it any better because I still got his So I put the address on the phone and I see that it just says, like, up. But now looking back, I'm like, I think I know what I messed up. I did not have the north and the south in the right direction. So it was telling me up, but in theory, it was just like maybe 500 meters behind me to the left. And I said, what the fuck? But then, right, we went all the way up. We're coming back down. As we're coming down, we see Carson and Jack done, and they're going up to go put their freaking flag on. And then that's when they tell us that there's one detour to the right or all the way down and then to your right. That's when Carrigain sees a little map. Yellow and
the arrows things,
yellow and red mark, and says, do you just want to go here? And then we're stuck again to the point at the very beginning. Do we switch detours or do
what she meant was like where Nick and Mike and Hunter were holding her at. So like we literally went all the way past where Nick and Mike and Hunter and Holden dropped off their Panji. We're at the very top of the temple. Like we made it up all the way.
Walk all the whole, yeah.
We walked the entire thing. We ran, sprinted, whatever, the entire thing. And so there's even like markers. And like after a while, I'm like, there's not markers. There's not markers. There's not markers. But we kept seeing Nick and Mike and Han and Holden. So I was like, do we just go there? Like, because at least we know where they are, right? We know that this is at least a detour. But I was tired. I honestly was very frustrated.
But we couldn't even make decisions anymore. We were asking each other, and either she was shut down or I was shut down. Now we're just angry, and we're just like, I don't even know what is the decision anymore. Let's just get somewhere, please. Like,
get somewhere and do something with our hands. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm tired of looking for something. I honestly, too, feel if we would have just switched detours and went to finding groceries, I think we would have had a little bit better chance. Because the other one, though, was like, not hard. It was just time consuming.
Yeah, it seemed really time consuming.
And it's like building something, right? When you like screw something too tight on one end, now you're trying to screw the other thing. Now it's not even or something's popping off. Like you have to tighten at the right time or something's going to fall or something's not going to be in the right spot. So I think just if we would have just potentially tried to team up with Han and Holden and Nick and Mike, they would have maybe given us directions on where to find things, because they're pretty helpful people, even though they say they weren't. They would have helped at least a little bit.
I don't know. Han and Holden last episode was like, we just have to beat Bernie and Carrigain, and if it came down to beating us again, I'm sure he would have been like, we just have to beat you two. Like,
yeah, that's a good point. I wonder what they would have said. Like, no, girl, we're lost. Go.
No, but I think you probably could have like convinced them and said like,
I do want to say here hi to Sarah.
Hey, Sarah.
Yeah.
oh, Sarah! I had such a good time on Nerdtainment.
Yeah, she's
You
so
gotta do
much
it for the
fun.
nerds, you know.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, you're Darth Vader.
I am.
Well, I actually have to go to work. My clients are waiting on me.
Okay. Thank you so much for joining us. Like,
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here with you guys, and that we were your first official guest.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we
Thank
did not
you.
disappoint,
Thank you
and
very much.
Kerrigan will keep doing great while you all keep chatting.
Yeah, we're almost wrapping up, but
Yeah.
like we really appreciate it. I'm
Thank
glad
you so much
actually
for
we
your
got
time.
a lot of the things coming, but thank you so much.
And if you ever need another co-host to go about other race or other episodes, let us know. We will spill the tea. We know. I'm kidding. And I'll leave you guys alone. Thank you
Thank
again.
you so much, Bernie.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point I get it. Like, you just being on that mindset and then having to do something really detailed. Like, I give you props for finishing it. And
there was no other choice.
And that's the thing.
That's
like
the thing.
that is what I'm like. I really appreciate. Like, it's like there's no other choice. That mentality of like, I'm not like. Although yes, you were bickering and like trying to figure out what was happening, like you got it.
You
done.
got through it and you did it.
And
like they say, you never know. You never know what happens on the race. All those teams that were circling around the town could have just kept circling around the town, and you could have
just went boop. You know, and that's what I was like so frustrated with when you get that frantic brain, because I'm really good at not being that. And there was other times that weren't aired that people had run past the clues because they're so much faster, right? All these people are like marathon runners and soccer players and performers. Running is not my strong suit. I'm very physical, but running is not my strong suit. There was times when people would run past clues, or like there was one point everybody was in the wrong ferry line, and I'd be like, hey, we're in the wrong ferry line, or hey, we ran past a clue. And then they'd be like, oh, snap, and have to come back. So, you know, when you're in that frantic brain, you miss things like that, right? You run in a circle or you miss the sign. We weren't the only team to miss the sign, but we were already so far behind. And I think I was telling, you know, on the Purple Pants podcast, I was telling them, like, you don't even think about the small things, too. Like, when I got to the rice, a lot of the barrels were already done. So then I had to find, like, I had to go to a different stack to get rice that actually was not emptied already. Right. Then the same thing with Panjor, like, you know, Josiah and Alyssa and Jonathan and Anna are really smart because they're like, let's go and stand right next to the demo versus like once all those stations are done and taken and we get there, we're at the farthest, you know, thing away. So we've got to run back to the demo. And there's a lot of those smaller things that you're like, wow, this doesn't really eat up time, or you don't really see it filmed that way. And then you're like, wait a second, that kind of took me a little bit longer because I had to go furthest from the demo and I had to gather more supplies. So just small things like that. But I mean, I wouldn't trade it for the world. Best experience of my life. I mean, everything was so lovely. There wasn't a point where I had any kind of bad time or any trouble with anything at all. I mean, it was just hands down the most amazing time. I
love hearing this because it is just that. But now, how triggering is now making rice?
You know what's funny though? It's like I eat rice like every day. I had no issues. If I can't have a meal without rice and beans, I don't know what I would do with myself. So.
But do you value it now?
Now you have an appreciation.
Yeah, I have a different appreciation for rice, and you know, it wasn't really about the rice. Like maybe the heat, you know. I love me some rice and beans, arroz con pollo. You know, I can't help myself.
Yeah. It was a really fun and interesting episode. I'm glad we got to experience.
We're sorry
the ups and downs.
We're sorry that it was your
outcome, but we're happy with how you handled yourselves, and we just saw like this beautiful friendship of like, yeah, we can get through all these hard things and still have love and respect for each other, and you know, we're not going to let this little hiccup, you know, ruin our relationship. And
Yeah, I was sad. I mean, everybody's gonna be sad to be eliminated, but honestly, it was really hard to be bummed. Like, I think the thing I was most upset about was just like not experiencing the rest of the race. But
Yeah.
I mean, to just have the opportunity to be on the Amazing Race, to do the things that we did and see the things that we saw. I mean, it's so hard to be sad. It's so hard to be bitter about it. Like, I just don't have anything else in my heart but joy, honestly. And I feel like our cast is just like, it's so amazing, and we're such a family, and everyone in our cast is just so exceptional. And I'm so glad I got to cross paths with each and every one of them. And it's been a dream. It's been a blessing. And so it's really hard to have any kind of negative emotion, to be honest.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
really
glad.
cool.
Yeah.
And if you had the chance to do another show, like,
Oh, would you do another show?
I would do another show. Honestly, I'm kind of thinking Traders.
like
I want to be on the Traders so badly.
Me too.
Oh,
Look
it's
at
so
both
good.
in white. It's meant to be.
yeah,
Yes.
I know.
Here we come.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's just an incredible show, and so like campy and fun, and I got an endorsement from Phil, so
I know. I was so jealous when I read that article. I was like, oh my gosh. But we hadn't aired yet, so I was like, Phil, I'm giving you a pass because,
exactly.
you know, maybe it's because we haven't aired yet. But I would love to do Traders, although I would need to hire a stylist because I only own yoga clothes. So
That's insane. I'm like, I don't own enough plaid.
I don't have any like name brand. I don't have any Gucci, Versace. Like I don't have anything.
Yeah, I know.
They agree.
Need you both on Traders? Yes, we would love that.
I don't think I would have. No, I don't have it in me.
Yeah.
What would you do next?
I don't know.
We're really hoping that
We're hoping
there's an
for a
All-Stars,
comeback. We're
but
hoping.
I don't know. I don't know if it'll happen. We've talked about like, would we audition for Survivor?
But we like the challenges, not the starving and
Yeah, I like the challenge.
Yeah.
Challenges.
That's why the Amazing Race is perfect because I need a bed, a shower, and food. Minimum. I'm not doing anything without it. I did like kind of the idea of like a romantic tar, like that was in that same article where you guys got shouted out for Traders.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like a singles Amazing Race edition, you know, but.
That would be interesting.
I mean, similar to 26, I think.
26, yeah, they did kind of like a blind
couple,
date.
Yeah.
It was like half the season were couples, and the other half were like blind dates.
I don't know if I could do a blind date. Bernie and I were thinking, because I was like, there's no way I could work with anybody. But we were thinking like maybe both pairs, like Bernie and I would both be single, and then there would be other teams for also single. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be a social
experiment.
Yeah.
But yeah, I vote Ricky and Carrigain take on Traders.
Yes.
That would be so
Oh
much
my
fun.
God,
I would
so
love.
fun.
I would love.
We need more racers in the reality universe.
Yeah.
We have some, but they're kind of like, they're also very versatile. They've done other things. So yeah, I would love to do that.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, for recapping, for like sharing more of you, and we love watching you.
Yeah.
So we're really,
And
really
now
you
you're part of
guys.
the family.
Yeah.
And are you coming for the finale?
Yes, I will be there. Bernie and I will be there. We're so excited.
Okay, good.
Well,
We'll be for the finale too.
Thank you everyone for joining us. If you haven't subscribed, just subscribe.
Go
Yeah, we
ahead.
totally forgot talking like
Yeah. Like and subscribe if you could. You can check us out on Instagram as well. We've been doing a lot of traveling, so
using our Expedia points.
losing those before they expire.
Yeah.
If you have any comments, anything you want to have answered, maybe Carrigain can chime in and we'll get some answers for you. But
thank you so much.
Thanks,
and
everyone.
we'll
Thank
see you
you.
on the next time.
Bye.
Bye.